Hi, and welcome to Nicole's Creative Adventures. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, quilting, sewing, and whatever I feel like talking about. If this is your first time watching, I appreciate you checking this out, and I hope you like it. For those of you that are returning viewers, welcome back. It's good to see from you guys and hear from you on Ravelry and Instagram. Um, yeah, I'm a little tired today, but it's okay. I went for a really nice bike ride with my husband today. It's Sunday, and the weather is just starting to turn. It was really sunny, very kind of pretty warm out, and beautiful because it's rained quite a bit, so it's green here. I am filming from Livermore, California, and it looks like there is a storm coming in. I think it probably will rain later this evening and maybe tomorrow. But then it looks like it's going to get all beautiful and spring on us. And it was like 75 degrees yesterday. So, but I'm not ready for summer. We need more rain. So we got a drought going on here still. But anyways, let's get on to creative things. Just a little bit about how to find me. You can go to my blog, nicolescreativeadventures.blogspot.com. You can find me on Instagram under Baker Vieira, and you can find me on Ravelry as Eat Mo Poi. Okay, and I have a Ravelry group for this podcast. It's Nicole's Creative Adventures podcast, and there's a place for you to introduce yourself. I'd love to hear who's watching the podcast, how you found it, and maybe answer some of the questions that I do in the prompting introduction thread. And keep your eye out. We'll be having more knitting cows. And if you're a quilter, trying to figure out what the best forum is for cows, probably on my blog. I plan on trying to figure out some quilting knit-alongs, quilt-alongs. So quilt-alongs. So I don't know. It's like, how do you say that? QAL. So there we go. Yes, podcast appreciation. Sorry if my brain is. I think I rested pretty good yesterday. I had a really long week, and I work at a church, so we're ramping up for Easter weekend, which is next weekend. We have Good Friday services. We have services on Saturday and services on Sunday. So we've been working towards that, and resting yesterday felt really good. I think I rested, and now my body's like in total rest mode. But I didn't want to not podcast, and I knew I can't podcast next weekend, so I needed to get this in now. So, podcast appreciation. So I'm really behind on podcasts. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but once I get pretty behind, we're talking like, there's like some podcasts that are at least 3 or 4 weeks old that I haven't watched yet. And then when I find that like yesterday, I'm like, okay, I want to start watching some podcasts. I want to start from where I left off so that I go in sequence, but I also find myself like picking certain podcasts and getting up to date, instead of doing every podcast that was 4 weeks old and then every podcast was 3 weeks old. I have to say I'm limited on time, so I got to catch up on certain ones. So two of the podcasters that I do that with, where I feel like I need to catch up on them first. The first one would be Stitched in Sweden with Maria. She's in Sweden, and but I believe she's an American. Believe that she came from the U.S. and she lived in Sweden. She goes to school there. It blows me away that she's a full-time student. She looks like she does tons of studying, but she knits the most beautiful things. If you haven't checked out her podcast, please do. She's really relaxing to watch. She's really smart, especially when it comes to knitting. She has she designs some of her own patterns. And I mean, everything she works on is stunning, like very stunning, like intricate and beautiful. And so I love watching her stuff. She also talks a little bit about what she's doing and how she did it. Check her out. The next one would be The Knitting Broomstick, and that's with Jilly. And Jilly is so funny. She just makes me laugh the whole time I watch her. She's super sweet. She's got like 5 kids. It could be 6 now, but I think it's 5. One of them's like a little infant that was born in December. I think it was the end of December, early January, right around there. I lost the whole, she had this guess, and everybody can guess and see what the weight of the baby would be and how long she would be. It was a girl. Oh, and also the birth date and time, like down to the minute. And so I lost both of those. But so then I guess that's why I don't remember because I didn't win. But I knew it was right around then. And she's funny. She's super into Harry Potter, and I enjoy Harry Potter, you know. But I'm a huge fantasy fan. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I love The Hobbit. I love Star Wars. Um, there are other shows like I like to watch. I mean, nerdy shows. Like I haven't really got into Doctor Who. I don't know. I tried it. I couldn't. But one of my friends that loves Doctor Who said, "Well, try it. Try Stargate and start with Stargate Atlantis and go back." And I love Stargate Atlantis. Loved it. In fact, I got my husband into it. And it's one of those shows where I watch over again and over again. I know, I just said that out loud. Some people were going to think that's really nerdy of me, but and then I watched the Stargate universe and I like that. And so we're big sci-fi fans and we're also big fantasy fans. So we enjoyed Harry Potter, but I wouldn't read the books and I probably wouldn't watch the movies over and over again, but I did enjoy them. Um, and she's huge. She's into Highlander, and I've read the first book, and um, yeah, I just I have a hard time reading books where the intimacy level is so high that I feel like I'm peeking into someone's private life. So, yeah, I probably won't be reading more of that series. I just feel like I can't keep reading this. I just feel I don't know what it is, but I love historical fiction. Like I love the whole aspect of that, and so historical fiction is probably my favorite type of book to read. And so I've read quite a few other, especially relating to Scotland fiction stories. So, anyways, enough about that. I need to read more though. That's for sure. Because since once I've finished Highlander, I haven't picked up another historical fiction book. So, any recommendations out there? Yeah, I just don't want to read lots of intimate, lovey-dovey, hot and bothered things. I don't know what it is. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm happy for them. I really am. But I love action and I love all that kind of stuff that happens, you know, and great twist to Highlander. I mean, I recommend it because you don't know if you're gonna like it or not unless you try it. And she's a great writer. So, anyways, okay, enough about that. Let's talk about my Adama cowl. Cal I just did. It's finished. It finished on March 8th, which was literally like 2 days after our last podcast. So it's time to draw the winner. Now this is funny because there was only 3 of us that did it. I'm a new podcaster, and plus I asked people to knit a specific cowl for a cowl, and so I knew the numbers would be lower because if someone wasn't interested in that pattern, they weren't going to knit it. But what that does is it means that I'm obviously not going to include myself in that. So the 2 people who did finish, one woman finished in 1 day, and then I think the other one finished just in like a week or so after that. So with a sweater in addition to that. So this is an easy pick here. There's a 50-50 chance that you're going to be the winner for this. So let me go to my number generator app because I don't know. Can't randomly choose a number by myself. Okay. All right, ready? Generate. Number 2. So let me go look that up. Should be easy to find. Carrie! Carrie's my friend. So Carrie won herself a custom-made bag by me. She gets to pick out the fabric, so I'll be in touch with you, Carrie. I'll ask you what colors you like, what kind of styles you like, and I'll throw out a huge picture of fabric or pictures, and you can pick the outside and the lining and that such, and I'll make and the zipper color, and then I'll make that and I'll send it out to you. But just because This is like a really close, like second place was really close. I think I'm going to, forgot to grab the yarn. I was going to gift a skein of yarn, and I might have grabbed it and put it somewhere randomly while I was thinking about it. Yep, it's not where I'm looking. So I think that number one, who will win the yarn, because I just feel like I got to gift a couple things, is Linda, who's known as Kaylin on Ravelry. That's right. I had Kaylin, but I wanted her first name. So Linda, I'll be reaching out to you and just saying, hey, I'm going to be sending you a skein of yarn. Give me your address. Yeah. First Cal done. Check. It's exciting. I'm sorry if I'm really like out of it today. And a downer. Maybe not a downer, but weird. Okay. Darn it. And I forgot my sock flutters. Hold on 1 minute. Let me find the yarn and get this other thing too. Okay. So, Kaylin, you have won a skein of Prairie Spun Walkabout, 200 yards DK weight. It's a hand-dyed self-striping yarn, 100% wool, in the color Delphinium. And here is the color. It really feels and looks like hand spun, but don't think it is. But excellent for ferrule patterns, short row, or modular knitting, or combining with solids. And it's spun from versatile Corriedale wool. So Walkabout Yarns, and this will be yours. So I'll message you and get your address. We'll send this out. That's it's very squishy. So, finished objects. So if you've been watching my podcast, specifically the last one, I was getting all weird and saying I will only work on my sweater. I won't cast on. I mean, I had a pair of socks that I had on the needles and my sweater at that point because I finished my Adama cowl. So I said, well, I'm not casting on anything until I finish my sweater. So literally finished my socks like 2 days after my last podcast. And so these are my finished objects. Cutie socks. I love this yarn. These have been washed and blocked, and I haven't worn them yet. Granted, it's been a little warm. But I love this. I love this yarn. This is how much I have left. I weighed it. It's like 4.7 ounces. So I used a little over 5 ounces for these babies. So I could get a pair of shorty socks out of this. The question is, could I get a hat out of it? Because my husband, when he saw me knitting my socks up, he had thought, man, that yarn would make a really nice hat. And I go, it would. I probably would have to, depending on the hat, because this is fingering weight. If I want it to be a decent slouchy hat or like a sock head hat, I'm not too sure how much yarn I need. I haven't even bothered looking. So, but I probably would combine it. Maybe combine it with another yarn. But isn't that dreamy? So let me tell you about the yarn. Because I've had a lot of people, I posted my finished socks on Instagram, and then I also posted them in a couple knit-alongs that are sock related, and people really like the colorway. So it is Lammy Toes Moon Pie Merino base. So Lammy Toes Moon Pie Merino base, and the color is Changeling, and I haven't seen it since. So glad I bought this. And actually, it's squishy, but when you knit them up, they're pretty soft. Where's my little... It is Oh, here it is. Hello, kitten. There's this cute little guy on the little lammy guy. That's her little thingy. So it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I bought this in December 2015. It's one of my self Christmas gifts, I think. And I love it. So I think my socks turned out great. Remember, if you watched my last podcast, I had like mixed up the setup row, or I think the setup for purl and knitting, finishing your toes on the Kitchener stitch. And I must, I thought I had it memorized. Apparently I had swapped it in my brain. So it had this ridge on the top. And when I did my second one, I didn't have the problem because I double checked. And so I ended up tearing this toe out, or at least, yeah, the toe, and then redoing the Kitchener stitch, which is kind of difficult because I had already woven my ends because I was dumb, and so I had to basically add more yarn, and so I extended the toe a little bit, which is fine because you can't really tell. They look pretty even. So yay, more socks. These will be my third pair this year. Officially, I mean, I did finishing in this year is 4, but I started my Punky Girl socks in December and finished right at the beginning of January. So they don't count. They don't. Nope. Not for the cows that I'm part of. All right, so that was my only finished project. Now, back to the sweater issue. I had finished my socks, right? Sock knitting is my favorite thing to do. It's raining right now. Great. My husband's outside doing yard work. Or not. And my neighbor is out in the rain, raining. But this is no big deal from him. He's from England. So when it's really cold here, he's like, this is nothing. So looks like he's having fun. So that's all that matters. So my sweater. I knit out my socks pretty dang fast because I wanted to knit my socks. And I don't have time to knit during the day because I work. And then when I get home and make dinner and clean and do errands or whatever I have to do, by the time I start knitting on the weekdays at least, it's when it's one-on-one time with my husband, and we're usually chilling, watching something on Netflix or catching up on shows or whatever. We don't have cable TV, so we use Netflix or Amazon Prime. But I don't want to knit my sweater because when I knit my sweater at night, because it's a really dark fabric, I make mistakes on it. So I was working on my sleeve. I'm into the decreasing. I'm about to finish decreasing and finish the sleeve. But I noticed that, see that? What the heck is that? I think I was out of it one night and I don't know what I did. It's stupid. The fact that I didn't even see it is really disappointing. But guess what? This is a practice sweater for me, right? That's why I didn't spend a crazy amount of money on yarn. I actually went low on the yarn costs because knowing me, I would make mistakes and regret the fact that I put all that effort into yarn. So learning experience, note to self, don't knit sweaters or really dark. I mean, the other thing is I think that the weight of yarn is a worsted, and I think at night, like when I'm knitting under lower lighting, it's not dark, but it's lower lighting, and I'm distracted with watching. I can't completely knit without looking. That's why I like socks, because you can knit pretty much a short amount and then you're done. And I use deep hands, and then you're looking down to switch your needles, and then you're back. But like knitting larger pieces, like a garment, and also thicker yarn. I don't know if I must be splitting the yarn. I'm getting confused. So, because maybe the feel isn't the same. Like it's super easy for fingering weight and even sport weight for me. But the thicker the yarn is, the more I feel like I need to pay attention because I'm going to stab the yarn and then issues like that happen. So, I had watched a few podcasts, I think, in my like while I'm getting ready in the morning and things like that when I'm not like working on my devotional or whatever. And I heard this theme. And the theme was I've decided to put that away and not work on that for a while because I deserve to knit on things I like, or I like so many things I just want to cast on everything, and that's okay. And when what I get done, and I was like, okay, because I don't want to work on my sweater, just point blank, just not into it. I wasn't knitting, so like finished my socks 2 days after my last podcast. I started knitting on my sweater the next 2 days after that. I stopped once I saw my mistakes. Way later, obviously, I stopped knitting on it. I was pissed off, and then I didn't knit. Like last weekend, I barely knit at all. And then into this week we're just coming out of, I hardly knit. And then I went, what the heck? And then my husband like, you sure you're not knitting tonight? Like we're watching something. I'm like, I want to knit, but I told him I have this rule. So then I decided, forget that rule, because now I'm not productive. Not only am not making any progress on my sweater because I just I'm not into it right now. I'm not productive at all. I don't spin at night because that takes away from the fact that my husband and I are watching a show, and I need to pay attention when I spin. Like when you're spinning, you don't look away. I don't know, maybe at one point you can get to that point. One point in your life you can get to that place in spinning, but you're always constantly watching your fiber to make, because you're looking for consistency. So I can't spin, and I can't quilt. I can hand quilt, but that requires my eyes to be down a lot too, because if I'm hand quilting, I'm doing tiny stitches and kind of need to pay attention. And I'm not bringing my machine out to the TV, my sewing machine, so I can sew. That's noisy. So knitting it is. Knitting is the one allowed project where I feel like it works for me and for my husband. So yeah. So Friday, I said, forget this. I'm gonna cast on a pair of socks, because I should always have a pair of socks going, and that was my main rule forever. Always have a pair of socks going. And I also casted on a new shawl. So, and I'm okay with the fact that I am not knitting on my sweater right now, because my plan is just to pick it up when I feel like it, when I have a little bit of time to do a few rows. No big deal, okay? But I want to knit on the things I want to knit on now. That makes sense. And I must sound like I'm guilty, or I feel guilty, but I feel good about it, because when you see what I'm working on, you'll be like, yeah, I can see why you want to do that instead. Okay, works in progress. Sweater. Okay, and I forgot to put this information in here, but I will. So in my new bag I made a couple weeks ago, this is my purple bag. It's this cool little lining in it. I have cast on some really cool, so bummer. I apparently was not recording for the last like 20 minutes that I was videotaping. So that sinks, because that was wasted quilting time and knitting time. Okay, enough pouting, but I think I was about, oh, my yarn's getting all discombobulated, but I was talking about this yarn. It's Twizzlefoot. Let me pull it out. I don't think I went over this. Just a little frustrated. Mountain Colors, beautiful hand-dyed yarns. Boop. Boop. Okay, whatever. Twizzlefoot is the base. Colors 50 is Red Willow. It's 53% superwash merino, 17% domestic wool, 17% silk, 13% nylon. It's a pretty lightweight fingering, but I am knitting socks on it. So here's the color. There you go. It's very pretty. Using my Carbon's 1.5 US double pointed needles. And I've started knitting the blueberry waffle pattern. I'm not doing her exact recipe because I think it even calls for DK yarn. This is definitely not DK yarn. And I'm doing my normal cast on 62 stitches, but they're looking a little small, but because of the blueberry waffle pattern, I believe that they'll stretch out. If not, they'll make some really cute little girl socks. And I have small feet, so once I get a little further down, then I'll be able to try it on and see if it's really going to be a good fit. But there's quite a bit of yarn in this, and so who knows, I can probably get 2 skeins out of this baby. But I'm enjoying that. These are my socks that I always have on my needles. Moving along because I don't remember everything that I already covered. The other thing that's on my needles is, I don't know if I talked about, if this is in my recording, but I decided I'm not going to suffer and only knit on a sweater that I don't want to knit on. So I've cast on another pair of socks, or a new pair of socks, and then I'm starting a shawl. And with this shawl, which I'll show you in a moment, I got 2 skeins in Stash Advancements. I ordered 2 skeins of yarn from Sweet Georgia Yarns. I've never tried her yarns before. I signed up, originally went on there to sign up for her Fiber Monthly Club, 3 months of it. And then I saw her Tough Love sock. And I thought, you know what? Always need more sock yarn. So I found one that I'll just show it right now. Why do it the way that I did it last time? What did I do with it? Oh, I put it in here. It was out originally. Not totally prepared right now. Okay. This color is Cloud Break. Really pretty blues, grays, and whites. And these would be for my mom. And super soft. She's blonde hair, blue-eyed, white, light skin. She's Irish, big time. And I get my coloring from my dad, who's Hawaiian. And the post office is delivering a package right now, and I don't remember ordering anything that big, but hey, I'll take it. Yeah. So I don't think my mom watches this podcast, but if you watch, Mom, don't expect this right away. I don't know what I'll cast these on, but I'm excited. And then the other thing I got from Sweet Georgia is the same base, the Tough Love sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 200% nylon, 425 yards. And this was going to be for my dad, but then I thought it was more tonal, more variegated tonal. It's called Auburn. So far away, it looks like solid brown. Up close, you can kind of see the medium and the lighter browns, and you know what I mean. But it's really not. It's not too obvious. So I decided I didn't want to knit a full sock of this, like just a plain, you know what I mean. So I have another skein of yarn that I got in the past that I thought might be good for him. We'll use that one instead. It's a way better choice. But this one, this hank was just laying there, and then in my basket, and then the next day, my March Fiberista Club package came. So if you haven't gotten yours and you're part of the Fiberista Sock Club, and I'm part of the warm tones, look away. But this is what I got. It's from Succulent Fiber, which I haven't tried before. It's 75% British BFL, 25% nylon, fingering weight, 475 yards, and it's this really pretty peachy pinky color called Blossom. So I saw that hank and this hank sitting next together, or skein, whatever word you like, and I just thought they looked pretty together. And I thought, I'm going to knit they sang to me and they said, Nicole, you should knit me a shawl. You know, something like that, you know, or knit yourself a shawl. Maybe that's what they said. So I did, where I am. So let me show you that. I went on to Ravelry and I said, shawl, search by 2 color, and this one popped right up and it was very popular. And it's called the Merlot shawl by Eloise Dupont. She's French, which I love all things French. So I'm excited. It was in, the directions were in French, and I was hesitating to download the French version because I took some French in high school and college, and I want to learn it again. I want to be good at it because I plan on going in the fall of 2017 to my first trip to Europe, and specifically France, and I also want to go to Italy as well. But yeah, then I was like, no, I don't want to screw up on the pattern, so I got the English version. But anyways, so let me throw a picture real quick in there of the shawl. Isn't that pretty? So you can tell that I was also inspired by the coloring because what she used in the photo for the shawl is very similar to the colors that I have. So I thought it was meant to be. Plus it was French, and I love Merlot. So let's give it a go. This is my first time knitting with two skeins, two different color skeins of yarn. I thought I did before and I never did. So here's what I got so far. I've actually made some progress. I started knitting on this on Friday. I just had probably 4 beginning rows and that's it. Was so excited in the morning to wake up to knit to get to the first color. I did, or I mean the second color. And then I'm back to the main color, and then I did the second color, and then I went back to the main color. And I've only done this today. So I actually did quite a bit yesterday. I'm enjoying it. I also was knitting on this last night. Did this whole part last night. This is an easy knit. So you do I mean, it's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It's about €5, which is, depending on where you're at, US, it's around $5.75 or something like that. So not too bad. The pattern is really easy to read. The directions are excellent. And yeah, I'm liking it. And, you know, you've got your increases on the sides. So you always know when that is. You know what I mean? It's not like some random ones midway through the shawl, because this is going to be a crescent shape, at least not right now. So you can just keep knitting or purling through the whole center of it, and then you make your increases towards each end. I think it's going to be pretty. I'm wondering if it's just me, but because of how you're making your increases, I feel like the edges are a little taut. I'm not trying to be a tight knitter, but maybe that's what helps in that crescent shape, because I've never knit a shawl in this shape before. So we'll see how it goes. Either way, I'm excited. I'm going to knit on this after my podcast. I said that last time, but you didn't hear it because it got deleted. All right. Quilting. I'm going to work on this guy here. This is a quilt top I did a little while ago. Kind of an odd shape. I plan on using some of these chartreuse. Well, wrong side. Well, here we go. Pink chartreuse. Maybe there's a hot pink in there. Threads to pop the quilting out. Be a nice way to accent on these solid navy. Is it navy? Yeah, it's kind of a navy, solid navy background fabric to accentuate the quilting. So I haven't touched that yet, but I did. It took me like a while to find this thing. I thought I had lost it, but I found it. And spinning, I forgot to bring my bobbin over, but I am spinning on something new. I believe it's My Braid by Green Mountain Fiber Company in Hawaii or Hawaii Base. I can't remember the actual name of it, but I'm liking it. Although first time spinning like BFL roving, I didn't realize how long the staple length was. And so I'm not too sure if I'm a big fan of how long it is. I'm digging the short draw method, and I really like spinning from the fold. And so I don't know. Wondering what technique is the best for roving BFL. So it's working, but occasionally, because you have to have your hands so far away from where you're drawing, um, or where you're letting the twist in, because the staple length is so long. I feel like there's a little uneven consistency sometimes. If you grab a little too much, and it's just, to me, it seems harder to control. But maybe I just need to get used to it because it's supposed to be a beginner thing. So, anyways, who knows? Speaking of acquisitions and fiber, Sweet Georgia Yarns. Nope, just kidding. Spun right round. I got two fiber purchases because I just did. Spun right round. Look at this baby. This color is called Darling, and it's a merino blend braid. Oh my gosh. So grays, this awesome purple, hot pink, and navy blue. That is amazing. See? Potential. So this is my first full-on merino blend to spin. Haven't done that yet. Excited. You'll see this theme of me trying to find, sorry for the noise, new fiber to play with. The other one I got from them was in the Spellbound colorway. This is their merino silk blend. This is merino with silk and Spellbound. So this has a lot of colors in white. This like, oh, what color is this? Like a magenta blue, purple, like a citron green, pretty turquoise, black. I bet there's colors in there that I'm not even aware of, but it looks really cool, and it's really soft. But the white stuff, I keep finding white fiber on me. I'm excited about that. How many times can I say I'm excited? And the last thing was the second skein of Tough Love sock yarn from Sweet Georgia. That I got that auburn brown one that I'm using on my shawl, and the other one I got was from my mom. I kind of feel like I'd already showed this one, but I can't remember if I did it in the first segment that got deleted or in the second segment. Either way, it's pretty. My mom's Irish, blonde hair, blue eyes, white. This would look good on her. These colors look good on her, and I'm excited. I think I already said that. Done. The only last thing I got was my Box O Socks Cal box. There's a knit along going on with Full and Vine Yarns, or actually it would be the Yarngasm podcast. Kristen, she also dyes Full and Vine Yarns, which is one of my favorite indie dyers. She's got some really cute stuff, and I love her Blitz base. But so I took forever for me to find box. The ones that I really liked were very expensive. I don't want to buy that much money for a box, so. But I just was at Joann's one day, and I had another purpose for being there, and then I thought I'll just go and see if they have any boxes, right? Well, I didn't really like any that were in the storage solution area or but they had this whole Paris theme aisle for spring, and I saw this hat box, and I thought, yep, it's mine. So it's very girly, but it's very pretty, and you know me, like things all French. Plus, this is, gosh, in honor of me looking forward to go to Paris. Cute. This is my mirror on the wall. Z box. with socks and skeins of yarn that it will be socks. I had mentioned the socks that I make my dad. This is the pair that I'll do for my dad eventually. Just simple browns and blues and grays. But so I have 2 of my socks. These babies will go in there as well. And then some future skeins. This will be for my Christmas. So I have 2 of these, but I only put 1 in there. You guys have probably seen this. This is last year's coloring for our Arnie and Carlos. What color was this? Oh, they do numbers, so it doesn't matter. And then I just pulled aside like 3 skeins I know I want to knit. Self-striping, first pair of self-striping I'll make. And then pretty speckly. I'm all about that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. I said it again. I'm elated that I found my box, and I think the lighting has changed. It's pretty. It would be prettier if the lighting, okay. It's so pretty that it's just going to sit there and look pretty. That's all I have for you guys. Sorry that this one was all messed up, but it'll be a shorter podcast. It'll be a really short podcast, I think. But that's all I have for today. I'm looking forward to showing more off of where I'm at. Love to hear from you guys. Love to hear what you guys like about the podcast, how things are going. I hope you laugh every time I mess up. I did get a new mouse because in my last episode, my cat killed it. That's why it took so long for that episode to get up. I didn't have a mouse. I had to basically wait. It was too difficult to try editing videos without a mouse. So, yes. Ready to go. Easter's next weekend. I hope you guys are getting ready for that. I probably won't podcast next weekend, but I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and your weather is enjoyable wherever you're at. And we'll talk to you later. All right. Take care.